Welcome to the Ethical Advocate for Accidents.
Welcome to the Ethical Advocate for Accidents with attorney James K. Sadigh. James has spent more than 35 years helping Californians with personal injury cases, insurance dispute, habitability issues, and wrongful termination matters, always with a focus on ethics and clear, honest guidance. I'm Chelsea, and today we're talking about a problem many tenants don't recognize right away: when unsafe or unhealthy living conditions start affecting your health. This is a hot topic, James. Welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me back again.
James, a lot of tenants don't realize that their health problems might be connected to their living space. What are some early signs that an apartment might be contributing to getting to someone sick?
Well, there are many. If you're sneezing more than usual, if you have skin rashes, no matter how minor, that keeps recurring, if you are more tired than usual, remember that you know your body better than anybody else. You know your energy level better than anybody else. So don't discount it. If you have moved into a new apartment or a new house, and you see that since you've moved or shortly after you moved there are changes like that, you need to look into the environment of the place.
Yes, mold, pests, leaks, and ventilation issues are common complaints. From your experience, what types of problems tend to cause the most serious health concerns?
Each one of them can.
Hmm.
uh, Mold, usually when mold happens, it doesn't affect everybody the same.
Hmm.
Some people don't even have any symptoms or problem, and some people have severe symptoms and problems with it, to the point that they will have breathing problems, they will have rashes that won't go away. They would have saps coming out of their eyes. They start having infections. Um, Usually, when people are allergic to mold, if they are removed from the area within a short time, the body will treat itself and would be fine. The problem is that a lot of times people don't know that there is a mold there, so they're still there, and or because of the economic situation, especially in city of Los Angeles, county of Los Angeles. Even we have this rent control, which people are in there, and they know that if they want to move, they may not be able to find another premises for the same level of rent and moving costs, and then children's school, uh, finding a place to live. So they get pushed into staying in that place and get sick more and more. Now the other stuff that happens is rat droppings. There are a lot of bacterias and a lot of different type of things in there that will make people sick to a point that they can be hospitalized, and because it can even infiltrate in the food that you leave for a few minutes on your kitchen counter. And in some occasions, especially in this town and county that we are, a lot of these buildings are older buildings and full of asbestos. So if the asbestos is touched, it's disturbed, as we say, and it's in the atmosphere, you may not feel anything at that moment. But for 20 years, you better be scared that you may end up with severe cancer and black lung, as they say. So these kind of exposures are very, very dangerous.
Wow. Many tenants feel unsure about whether an issue is bad enough to even involve an attorney. What kinds of situations clearly cross the line into habitability claim?
Well, if you actually detect any of the situations that we spoke about, whether mold, asbestos, rat droppings, any kind of these kind of situations, the first thing that you need to do is to give a notice to your landlord. And if the landlord immediately sends the licensed, permitted professionals to come and do the evaluation, then the landlord is doing the right thing. But you also have to understand that during the time that they're doing the mold abatement or the cleaning of the apartment, if it's severe, you need to see that the landlord is actually uh, paying you to be in a hotel or supplying a living space during the time that this thing is being done. If you see that the landlord is sending just a handyman to go under your kitchen sink and say, "Oh, I just found something. I'm gonna change this," and the mold is gone, and they're not doing the test or anything like that, that's a warning sign. Call a lawyer right away.
Documenting conditions is important, but people don't always know where to start with this kind of stuff. What types of photos, videos, or written notes help show what's really going on?
Well, if you see a black mold or any kind of a mold, even if it's in your bathroom tub or places like that around the window, take pictures and make sure that it's dated so you can show it. Also, if you see any moving rats or mice or anything like that, take videos. One of the other things are people don't realize, which is at some point became very severe in Los Angeles, were bed bugs.
Hmm.
Bed bugs, you don't see them, but you keep seeing that, noticing that you're being bitten and you're scratching, and it's one of the worst things that can happen to anyone. Well, a lot of times, if you pay attention, you may be seeing a very small bug moving around your bed, your couch, if you have carpets, or anything like that. Take pictures and videos immediately. The other part of it is that whenever you see these things, do not depend only with the phone calls that you make to the landlord and put them on the notice. Text, email. Text the landlord, email the landlord, let them know in writing, because that is a document that you put the landlord on notice. And under the current laws, no matter which one of these situations happens, the landlord has duties and responsibilities. And if they don't respond to you in time or take any measures uh, properly in time, that is an evidence against the landlord that can actually enhance your case.
This is a great segue. The communication with landlords can get messy. What are the things that a tenant should be putting in writing, and how does that written record help and matter later?
Most everything should be in writing. If you have a plumbing problems, if your faucet doesn't work properly, if your toilet doesn't flush properly, if your window seals are not sealed enough so that whenever there is a rain or anything, moisture comes in, or that you see that the flies come into your apartment, put it in writing, report it in writing through email or text, or some of these buildings now have the portals that you can do. uh, Never use harsh language. It's very important never to use harsh language, because you don't want to give an excuse to the other side to say this person is just never satisfied no matter what we do. He or she is an angry person and they're just trying to make a claim. Always be civil in your language, be respectful in your language, however, document every problem you have, and always end up the writing and the demand is saying that when can I expect that you send someone to deal with this situation? All
Hmm.
of those. And if they didn't come on time, again, saying 48 hours ago or 3 days ago, I let you know about this. I've been living without this service, or I've been living in this situation for past 3 days. You haven't done anything. Therefore, under Civil Code 1941, I'm going to have to take it in my hand because my health and safety is in danger. I will pay for it, I will repair it, and I will deduct it from your next month's rent. Let me know in the next 24 hours or 48 hours if it's okay with you. All of those can always show whether the landlord was a proper landlord or a slumlord.
You mentioned portals. This is just a quick follow up. Is it okay to use those portals and trust those for your documentation, or do you need to download it and put it someplace else too?
Well, the best thing is that, of course, it's safe to use it, but the best thing is that either take a screenshot of it
Okay.
Or if you can download it, because I'm not saying that the landlords are going to hide the evidence, which some of them unfortunately known to have done that before. Majority won't, but it's still electronics and technology. They may crash, so you better have a screenshot and or download it in your own system in order to verify.
Okay. Great tip. Sometimes a landlord might fix things temporarily, or only, like you said, the plumber comes over and fixes something on the surface. How does that affect a potential claim when the underlying problem keeps coming back or getting worse?
Well, it may entitle you to punitive damages on top of your real damages. We've had a few cases in the past 10 or 15 years of doing this that there was mold, and the landlord comes in and says, "We're going to take care of it, no problem." They just send a handyman and they paint over it. They don't change the units, they don't take up the wall that had this and make a new one. And what happens is that the paint actually enhances the mold. It actually causes the mold to have a very warm and nice place now. And after a short time, they come back with a vengeance. Um, that's why I said it at the beginning. When the landlord comes in and you have a severe mold situation or things of that nature, make sure they bring a licensed, reputable person to take care of this. Some situations, the handymans are okay. If you see a small leak under your kitchen sink or bathroom, yeah, the handyman can take care of it. When you see just a little bit small thing, fine, and see what happens later. But if you see that you may have spread mold pores in your apartment, no, you have to make sure that there's a reputable mold specialist and or asbestos specialist, a habitation. They come in and they do the atmosphere test and all of those things to make sure the pores are not all over the place and do the right thing. With the licensed contractors, by the way. A lot of times they even, like in city of Beverly Hills, for a lot of works, they have to go to the city and actually pull a permit to be able to do certain work.
And this is something you can check when they come to your house.
Absolutely. Always ask the contractor or whoever comes in, who are you? What company are you with? What's your contract license number?
Okay. People often worry that they're going to be blamed for the problem. For example, mold being blamed on tenant behavior. How do you help clients handle those kinds of accusations?
Well, regardless of the fact of the living situation, if there is a mold in the unit, especially in an apartment complex, the landlord has the duty not only to that tenant, but also to the other tenants. So the landlord has to do the right thing through the licensed contractors to abate this place so that the mold doesn't go to the other units and make health situation for other tenants. So that's important. There are, however, cases, and especially it comes up in a bed bug cases, that the landlord is trying to blame the tenant that you brought on the bed bug yourself. You may have gone to a place and picked up a couple of bugs and brought to your unit and stuff. Well, regardless of that, City of Los Angeles has special legislation regarding that the landlord and tenant have to, in good faith, fully cooperate with each other to take care of the problem. And because the landlord is in a better situation financially, usually, and otherwise, it's the landlord's duty to take care of it immediately, regardless of whose fault it is, because bedbugs can travel from one unit to the other and endanger other tenants. Also, bedbugs, if they're not cured properly, a lot of these landlords just send the pest control person to put some chemicals all around the place and say that's done. No, it's not done. It may get rid of a small percentage of the bugs. The rest of them go into the walls, go to the electric wiring of the place, and then after a while, now they are susceptible to these particular chemicals, so that one is not going to kill them anymore either. They come back with a vengeance, and they may actually be transferred to other units. So it is very important that when there is a bed bug infestation in any apartment building, all the areas that are adjacent, probably even the entire building, should everybody should come out. They should tent it. They should do the heat and chemical, and after that, inspection either with the dogs and or with ultraviolet lights to make sure that everything is taken care of. Plus, all the clothing, furniture, mattresses, bed bug, and all soft items from made from wood and or wool has to be in a plastic bag, completely sealed and thrown away. You can even your electric devices. The only thing you can keep are glass and metal furniture.
Wow. Okay. Well, you talked about how people might feel stuck earlier and like they can't do anything about it. Moving can feel overwhelming, especially if someone can't afford it. When a unit becomes unsafe or unlivable, what practical steps can tenants take to protect their health but still preserve their claim?
Well, first thing is, of course, you have to do the proper notices to the landlord. And if the landlord voluntarily doesn't come to take care of it, you have to give notices to the landlord that under the current law, you're entitled to another living space while this is being done. But if none of those is happening, well, you stop paying rent, you give proper legal advice and notice to the landlord, and you move to a hotel, Airbnb, uh, temporary staying situation, and immediately hire a lawyer to preserve you, because a lot of times when you do that, the landlords are going to say, oh, you abandoned the property, so they just enter, clean up the place, and re-rent it to somebody else. You have to
Hmm.
make sure that you have the proper notices. It's very complicated for a lot of people to do it by themselves, so that's why it's very important that you have a good legal advice and representative from the beginning, so the landlords do not take over your especially rent control place and then later on sue you for unpaid rent.
For someone who's listening, who's starting to think that maybe their apartment is the cause of their symptoms, what can they do right now to understand their situation and to explore their options?
Well, the easiest thing, if they can afford it, call up one of the services that do evaluation for the mold and the atmosphere thing, and or hire a general contractor that is familiar with this. It shouldn't cost more than a few $100s to come into your place and evaluate your place, do the tests, and see what's going on in there, and have the test results in your hand. And based on that, then you can make a decision what to do. Uh, that's the easiest way. The hardest way is to ask. Again, document your symptoms and your problems with the landlord and see what happens. The other thing that is very important is that sometimes you have these symptoms and you go to a doctor. Bring it up to the doctor. If the doctor through the test doesn't know what these symptoms are related to, says, doctors, you've done the blood test, you've done all of these things, you still haven't found why I feel like that. Is it possible that I have something in the environment of my living space that do that? And if that's the case, should I do the test of the environment so that you can check it? It's very important to do
Lots of juicy nuggets today. I learned a lot about bed bugs that I didn't know. Thanks so much again, James.
that. Well, the bed bugs are a real disaster. Uh, there are cases out there that uh, one particular that comes to mind, that the little kid was attacked by the bed bugs in this apartment building, which the landlord apparently had kept it as a secret that other units had bed bugs and stuff. And this kid at 14 months old now has permanent damage to his face. And that case, if I'm not mistaken, brought above $14 million jury verdict. And most of it was punitive damages because the landlord had kept the fact that bedbugs are in the building and also had not done the proper treatment. So the jury found out that it was reckless disregard for the safety of everyone for in order to make more money.
Hmm.
They are very serious situations.
Yeah. Well, that's it for today's episode of the Ethical Advocate for Accidents with James K. Sadigh. If unsafe living conditions are affecting your health and you want clear ethical guidance from an attorney who will speak with you directly, visit jamesksadigh.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to like, leave a review, and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode.
Thank you for having me, Chelsea.
Thanks again, James.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.